Leo, can I ask you something real? Have you felt deep down that something big is coming, but you just don't know what it is yet? If your answer is even slightly yes, then don't ignore this moment. This isn't just another astrology video. This is a message. And I don't say that lightly. Something powerful is about to shift in your world. I'm talking about a divine, undeniable turning point, and the timing is not random. The universe is setting the stage for you on Friday, October 31st. That date? It's not just a number on a calendar. For you, Leo, it's a threshold. A sacred gate that's about to swing open. And here's the thing, you're not just invited to walk through it. You're being summoned. The energy around you is intense right now. You can probably feel it already. That hum beneath the surface. The sudden emotional waves. The moments of clarity out of nowhere. That's no coincidence. The Sun, the planet that rules you, is forming a rare and intense trine with Pluto. At the same time, the Scorpio moon is stirring deep truths you've been holding inside for far too long. What does that mean in real life? It means you're being pulled toward your own becoming. Not just success in the way the world defines it, but something richer. Something real. Alignment. Closure. Justice. And joy that's not tied to performance. Maybe you've been stuck in a cycle, giving too much, sacrificing too often, dimming your lights so others feel comfortable. That ends now. Not because you're pushing it away, but because the universe is finally pulling you out of it. On this path, you might receive unexpected messages, financial news, legal outcomes, a career breakthrough, even someone returning from the past trying to reconnect. But here's the truth: you don't need anything external to validate your worth anymore. You are enough as you are. And you're finally about to see that reflected back at you through new opportunities, soul-deep relationships, and inner peace you didn't even realize you were missing. So if something brought you here today, something small, like a nudge of curiosity, or something big, like a silent prayer, didn't brush it off. You didn't find this by chance. And if you're still watching this, that tells me something. Part of you already knows this message was meant for you. Take a second and drop a comment below. Just say, "I'm ready for the shift," or "I receive this message." Not because it helps the algorithm, but because claiming energy is part of manifesting it. You write it, you own it. That's how intention works. Let me also say this: thank you. Genuinely. Your presence here, your time, your energy, your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, theory, not just numbers. They're soul signals. Every single one helps grow this space into a spiritual home for everyone seeking something deeper. So stick with me today. Seriously. Stay until the end. Because what the universe is about to reveal about your path, your gifts, your next big season isn't just inspiring. It's life-changing. Now tell me, Leo, what part of your spirit drew you here today? Leo, if you're still with me after what we've just opened together, then you already know we're not speaking in metaphors here. What's happening on October 31st isn't just symbolic. It's energetic. It's deeply real. It's something you'll feel not in your calendar, but in your core. You see, when the Sun, your ruling planet, the very force that defines your essence, forms a trine with Pluto, there's nothing casual about it. This isn't surface-level astrology. This is the universe handing you a key and quietly asking, are you ready to use it? This rare alignment is like a mirror that doesn't reflect your face but your truth. Pluto, the planet of transformation, doesn't show up to play nice. It arrives to tear down what's false, tired, and no longer part of your story. And when it partners with the sun in such harmony, what it activates isn't destruction, it's deep internal rebirth. This is where masks fall away. This is where you remember the version of yourself you were always meant to become. And let's not ignore the moon. Scorpio's moon doesn't stay on the surface. It dives straight into the parts of us we rarely admit out loud. When the moon is in Scorpio during a major solar-Pluto alignment, you'll likely feel it like a wave. For some, it will show up as emotions rising with no warning. For others, old memories might resurface, grief, shame, even regret, but not to haunt you. No, this time, they return to be healed. You may feel more introspective than usual. You might want to withdraw and protect your energy. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Because here's the secret no one tells you, real transformation doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the quiet, in the surrender, in the moments when you finally stop pretending and allow your truth to speak. Tarot confirms this energy too. If the sun is your signature card, it means light is coming, not borrowed light from others, but your own light, returning to its full strength. And when the Judgment card follows, that's not just a message, it's a divine call. It tells us that what you've been through wasn't wasted. The hard seasons, the failed relationships, the silence you endured, the chapters you had to close alone, they were not a detour. They were the preparation. This is your moment to rise, not because someone handed it to you, but because you've earned it with every scar and sacred decision you've made. At exactly midnight on October 31st, a portal opens. Again, I'm not speaking in poetry, I am speaking in energetic timing. It's the kind of window that doesn't come often. You may feel a surge of clarity or an unexplainable shift in perspective. Maybe it will be a sudden opportunity, a job offer, a breakthrough email, a contract you've been waiting on. Or maybe, it will simply be a decision, a quiet, private moment when you say, I'm done living halfway. And sometimes, the biggest shift doesn't look like fireworks. It looks like no longer needing permission. It feels like breathing easier in your own skin. Like no longer accepting less than you deserve. Like finally being done with patterns that kept you small. That's the gift of this moment. It doesn't force change, it unlocks it from within. You may already be seeing hints of this now, people pulling away, new offers coming in, unexpected delays that actually protect you, or conversations that feel like closure. That's the current starting to swirl. And when you sense it, don't doubt it. Don't dismiss it. Because even if the shift begins subtly, the result will be undeniable. I know that in this modern life, we often forget to pause. We're too busy reacting, scrolling, overscheduling, surviving. But even Jesus reminded us, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Not because rest is passive, but because from stillness, we rise with power. From pause, we act with purpose. From surrender, we are reshaped. So if this part of the message hits you deeper than you expected, good. That means your spirit is awake and listening. That means you're right on time. And if you feel it, say it. Speak it out loud. Declare it in the comments. I'm ready for my shift. I'm stepping into my season. Not from a but for you. Because this is your alignment. This is your gate. And it's opening now. You've probably heard it said that people don't really change. But if you're Leo, and you're listening now, you already know that's not true. Not when real transformation happens from the inside out. Not when it's been earned through fire. This stage of your journey isn't about becoming someone else, it's about returning to who you've always been underneath the noise, the pressure, the survival mode. It's about finally letting go of the false belief that you have to shrink yourself in order to be safe or loved. You don't. Maybe you've spent years feeling like the supporting character in your own story. Maybe you've watched others get noticed while you quietly held things together behind the scenes at work, at home, in relationships. Maybe you told yourself that was fine, that you didn't need the spotlight anyway. But deep down, part of you was waiting for permission. Here's the truth, the universe is no longer asking you to wait for that permission. It's already given it to you. And honestly, it always had. There's a reason this energy is erupting now. You're stepping into what I call the solar moment. It's when your natural light can no longer be ignored even by you. And this isn't just poetic, it's astrological. The tarot card the Sun, which is directly connected to Leo, is the clearest signal of that shift. When the sun shows up, it doesn't whisper, it shines. It speaks of life force energy coming back online. It represents joy that isn't dependent on approval. It's clarity, warmth, confidence. It's the opposite of hiding. And most importantly, it's not something you fake, it's something you remember. But I know. Remembering who you are isn't always easy. Life has a way of burying our brightest parts under layers of responsibility, rejection, and rules. So it's natural if part of you still doubts whether you're ready to be seen, to lead, to take up space. But let me ask you this. What would your life feel like if you stopped apologizing for your presence? What if you believed that your voice, your joy, your dreams weren't too much but actually necessary? For many Leos right now, this energy is showing up in real time. People who never noticed you before are starting to pay attention. Doors that once felt permanently shut are suddenly unlocking. You may be getting invited into rooms that used to intimidate you, or given chances you used to only dream about. That's not random. That's your alignment arriving on time. And the only thing it's waiting on is you. You don't need to force this next level. You just need to stop resisting it. Stop dimming down to match someone else's comfort zone. Stop telling yourself you're not ready yet. Because here's the most powerful truth of all, your light is not a burden. It's a gift. And if you're feeling the pull to step forward now, it's not ego, it's purpose. We live in a world that tells us to stay humble, but often what that really means is stay quiet. And Leo, you weren't born to be quiet. You were born to inspire, to lead, to energize others simply by being fully alive. Not through perfection but through presence. Through the unapologetic expression of your spirit. That's what people are drawn to. That's what heals. That's what moves energy in a room. So if you've been feeling like something in you is rising, let it. If you've been afraid of being seen for who you truly are, it's time to challenge that fear. Because what if your willingness to be visible is the very thing someone else needs to finally believe in themselves? What if your story, your glow, your boldness is the mirror that sets another soul free? You don't have to earn this moment. You just have to allow it. And if this part of the message resonates, I want you to drop a comment right now and say, I'm done hiding. Or simply, I'm ready to be seen. Not for you. So your energy can rise into the space it was always meant to occupy. Because the truth is, you're not just stepping into a new chapter. You're becoming the author. Sometimes in life, you don't need to speak a word to feel seen. It's the way someone looks at you, not with judgment or expectation, but with a kind of quiet recognition, like they already know the parts of you you've spent years trying to explain to others. And if you've ever felt that, maybe even just once, you know how rare and disarming it is. That's what we're talking about here. Not a love based on surface attraction or fleeting attention, but a soul connection. Something that feels older than time. Something that feels like it was written into your story long before you understood how stories work. Right now, Leo, that kind of connection is circling closer to your field. Some of you may already sense it. You might be dreaming of someone you haven't met yet, or feeling a strange, magnetic pull toward a person who suddenly appeared in your life and somehow feels familiar. Others might feel a quiet stirring in their chest, a nudge of longing you can't quite explain. That's not coincidence. That's energy preparing to meet its reflection. Astrologically, this makes sense. You're in a season where your heart chakra is being cleared out intentionally. Not just to make room for someone else, but to reconnect you with the part of yourself that knows how to love deeply, freely, and without fear. And as you make that space, the universe moves people into alignment. That's how divine timing works. It's not always loud. It's not always fast. But when it lands, you feel it instantly. Like breathing differently. Like coming home. But with that opening comes something else, something we don't always talk about. Sometimes, when your light grows stronger, the shadows from the past show up too. Not to haunt you, but to test your boundaries. You may notice someone from your past reaching out. Maybe an ex. Maybe someone who once made you feel small, invisible, or like you had to earn love. And now, they sense that you've changed. They may not know what it is exactly, but they can feel that you're not who you used to be. That's where discernment matters. Not every return is a reconciliation. Some are reminders. Some are invitations to revisit old patterns. And this time, the choice is yours. Will you let them pull you back into the old script, or will you choose the version of you who finally understands what healthy love feels like? This is why energetic boundaries are so important right now. Not just to protect your heart, but to honor how far you've come. If you've done the inner work, if you've been learning to trust yourself again, then you already know, love doesn't have to be chaos to be passionate. It doesn't have to be unpredictable to be exciting. And it never asks you to abandon yourself to be chosen. That's the kind of connection you're being prepared for. The kind that doesn't demand a performance. The kind that feels safe and alive in the same breath. The kind that doesn't just see your strengths, but also holds space for your soft places, your doubts, your history. This is love as healing. Love as presence. Love as restoration, not rescue. And whether that person has arrived or is still on their way, your role isn't to chase, force, or convince. Your role is to stay open, honest, and deeply rooted in your own energy. Because when the connection is real, it finds its way. It always does. If any part of this resonates with you, if you've ever felt that soul-level recognition or you're sensing that someone like that is drawing near, let me know. Drop a comment and just say, "I'm ready for a real connection," or "I believe it's on its way." Speaking it out gives it life. And when we name our desire with clarity and courage, we give the universe something to respond to. You're not asking for too much. You're asking for what was already meant for you. And right now, more than ever, your heart knows the difference. Trust it. You know, there are moments in life when it feels like everything is finally catching up to you, not in a burdensome way, but in the most meaningful, rewarding sense. And Leo, this is one of those moments. The universe has been watching your quiet effort, your unseen loyalty, your late-night prayers whispered into pillows, and your resilience in seasons when no one else noticed. And now, something sacred is happening. What you've poured out is on its way back multiplied. In the language of energy, this isn't luck. It's alignment. This is how the law of attraction truly works, beyond the surface-level quotes and trendy mantras. It responds to consistency. Not perfection. Not performance. But presence. When you show up for your own healing, your growth, your integrity, even when it's hard, that gets stored somewhere. I often describe it like a spiritual bank account. And Leo, your balance has been building. You may not have seen the returns yet, but trust me, the deposit has been active. And now, withdrawal time is near. What makes this particular moment so potent is that your vibration is matching your inner truth more than ever before. That's when the law kicks in fast. That's when things start happening all of a sudden, the email you've been waiting for, the shift in someone's attitude, the check in the mail, the breakthrough idea that just clicks. But it's not random. It's the echo of what you already gave, circling back in divine timing. The signs have likely already been showing themselves to you. You might be seeing repeating numbers 888, 1111, even 29:29. You may find yourself waking up from dreams with bright light or hearing songs you haven't heard in years, only for the lyrics to hit you like they were written for you. Or maybe it's that familiar but indescribable sensation of déjà vu, a feeling that you've been here before, even though you haven't. Those moments? They're not weird. They're not coincidences. They're codes. They're confirmations. They're the universe nudging you gently and saying, yes. Keep going. You're close. The reason this happens now is because energy, especially the kind you've cultivated through faith and action, never disappears. It travels. And when it returns, it often does so with a ripple effect. Think of it like throwing a pebble into still water. You may not see the waves at first, but they're moving outward, expanding in layers you can't even trace. This ripple is reaching you now, and it's bringing back not just what you gave, but what you became in the process of giving. But here's the part we sometimes overlook: receiving is an active process. You don't just sit and wait, you participate. That's why I want you to do something powerful right now. I want you to write it down. Not just in your head. Not just a vague wish. I mean, really write it, what you want to receive by October 31st. Be clear. Be bold. Be honest. Whether it's financial release, emotional closure, creative opportunity, or peace of mind. Don't filter it. Because when you put pen to paper, you are not just hoping, you are anchoring. You are creating a written contract between your soul and the universe. And the universe? It's always listening. But it moves faster when you speak with clarity. So make this a moment of clarity. A moment of courageous declaration. You've already done the work. You've already planted the seeds. Now it's about preparing your heart to accept the harvest. So take a breath. Take up space. And write it down. The more specific, the stronger the signal. You're not asking for a favor. You're simply welcoming back what you've already sown. And that's not magic. That's alignment. By now, Leo, you're probably feeling the stirrings of something shifting, not just in your external world, but in your body, your thoughts, your choices. That's how real transformation works. It doesn't just show up in big announcements or cosmic breakthroughs. It begins quietly, in the way you care for yourself when no one is watching. In the way you start responding instead of reacting. In the way your nervous system feels when you're no longer in survival mode but in alignment. That's why this next part of your journey isn't just about the stars above or the signs around you, it's about how you root that energy into your everyday life. Let's talk about your body for a moment. You've been through a lot lately, emotionally and energetically, and your body holds all of it, even the things your mind has tried to forget. That fatigue you can't explain, the tension in your shoulders, the sleep that feels shallow, it's not random. It's your system asking for gentleness. It's time to stop pushing through and start tuning in. A warm bath with intention, a few deep breaths when your thoughts start spiraling, a quiet moment with herbal tea instead of one more cup of caffeine. These small shifts matter. They're not self-indulgent. They're sacred. Color therapy also becomes a quiet ally now. Surround yourself with golden tones, burnt orange, soft coral pink. These aren't just aesthetic choices, they're energetic ones. They stimulate joy, courage, and clarity. They remind your subconscious that safety and vitality can coexist. So wear them, decorate with them, meditate on them. Let them speak to your cells without you needing to say a word. Financially, this is a season of pruning and planting. It's time to stop pouring energy or money into things that drain you. That includes people, habits, and purchases that don't reflect your values or nourish your spirit. You don't need to hoard or hustle. You need to open your hands, open your heart, and see money as the loving frequency it truly is. Not a weapon. Not a weight. But a resource you're learning to respect and circulate. And if it feels uncomfortable, good. That means you're growing beyond your conditioning. In your work life, this is a moment of truth. If what you're doing feels like it fits someone else's version of success but not your own, then it's time to reassess. Not out of rebellion but out of responsibility to your calling. Leo energy is naturally meant to inspire, lead, create, elevate. So whether you're in business, education, service, or the arts, make sure you're not just fulfilling a task but fulfilling a purpose. You were never meant to play it safe in beige spaces. You were born to bring color where things have grown dull. And when it comes to love, here's your permission: you don't have to perform anymore. You don't have to hold it all together or pretend you're unbothered. You don't need to fix anyone or prove anything. You just need to be real. And in that realness, you will attract the kind of connection that sees you, meets you, and honors you as you are. Vulnerability is no longer your weakness. It's your filter. It shows you who is safe and who is simply curious. And that kind of clarity is a gift. Now, let's ground this energy with practice. From October 29th to 31st, I encourage you to keep a short journal each night, not to fix anything, but to reflect. Write what you're releasing. Write what you're welcoming. No pressure to make it perfect. Just let it be honest. Let it be yours. And in the mornings, take 11 quiet minutes to breathe deeply, place your hand on your heart, and repeat this affirmation: I allow my highest destiny to unfold for me gently and fully. Say it as if it's already true. Because in many ways, it already is. Remember, the stars can offer guidance. The cards can reveal insights. But it's your daily choices, your sacred, ordinary acts of self-respect that turn possibility into reality. So don't just watch your life shift. Participate in it. Shape it. Love yourself through it. Because you're not just waiting on your destiny anymore. You're welcoming it in. Leo, if you've made it here still listening, still breathing in these words, then maybe something inside you already knows. You're not waiting for your moment anymore. You're in it. And the most powerful shift doesn't always come from thunder or lightning. Sometimes, it comes from a quiet decision. A choice to stop questioning your worth. A choice to no longer shrink in rooms you were meant to shine in. A choice to show up fully, boldly, with heart wide open. Not because you have to prove anything, but because you've remembered who you are. You don't need to wait for one more cosmic alignment, one more permission slip, one more cycle of burnout just to feel worthy. You already are. You've always been. And right now, the energy around you, the stars, the numbers, the echoes in your spirit theory, all pointing to one thing: it's your time. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Now. The light isn't somewhere out there waiting to find you. It's already at your door. All you have to do is open it. But here's the part most people skip: light doesn't demand you to be perfect. It just asks you to be present. To show up with your truth. With your hopes. With your softness. That's what this moment is about. Not doing more, but being more aligned with who you really are. And the way you anchor this new chapter starts with small, intentional steps. Maybe it's journaling tonight instead of scrolling. Maybe it's speaking kinder to yourself in the mirror. Maybe it's allowing yourself to be seen by someone who genuinely sees you. So let me ask you, what's the one shift you're ready to make today? Not next week. Today. What story are you ready to stop telling yourself? And more importantly, what new one are you ready to write? Because you have the pen now. This is your page. This is your portal. And no one else can walk through it for you. If your heart feels even a small tug, don't keep it inside. Declare it. Speak it. Anchor it. I want to hear from you. Comment below and say, I'm ready for the miracle on October 31st, or I open the path for my destiny, or even just, I receive my soul's light. Because the moment you write it, you give it life. You give it permission to find you. And if this message spoke to something real inside, you'dn't keep it to yourself. Like the video. Share it with another Leo who needs this reminder. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because this space eternal mindfulness was built for souls like yours. For those who are awakening. For those who are healing. For those who are done pretending they're not powerful. You're not alone in this. You're part of something bigger. A collective that's rising, one heart at a time. And Leo, your fire is not just for you. It's the spark that lights the way for others. Your truth gives others permission to live theirs. That's what leadership is. That's what legacy is. And that's what you were born for. So before you go, take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And just whisper to yourself, even if it feels silly, I'm ready now. Say it again. I'm ready now. Because you are. And the universe knows it. I know it. And deep down, so do you.